You're about to sign on the dotted line and purchase a condo in Ventura County, and you're thinking, man, I finally got out of that rental trap and I'm into the real estate business. But maybe you've walked out of that rental trap and you've walked right into a financial cage. What does that look like? Let's talk about the different things in a condo purchase that you have to deal with. It's not exactly the same as buying a single family home. It is a completely different financial animal. So let's get into it. And when you're signing up and you're buying a property, what's the big thing you have to do is you get yourself a mortgage, right? And when you buy a condo, you're getting something I like to call the forever mortgage, right? Because when you purchase a property, you're getting a mortgage that's 30 years to pay off. Assuming you don't do anything but just pay that off, it's going to take you 30 years to pay it off. Now, when you buy a condo, you got something that comes along with that is almost like a second mortgage payment that just never goes away. Not in 30 years, not in 100 years, never goes away. And what is that? It's an HOA payment. And they can get pretty outrageous. So just think about that when you're buying yourself a condo, because it's going to come with an HOA. And it's not just about the restrictions that HOA puts on you, but it is a payment that you have to make every single month alongside your mortgage for all time and eternity. Okay? Now, let's talk about the second one, and that's insurance can become a bigger issue. It's not just your insurance, but it's also your adjacent property insurance and the HOA's insurance themselves, because all three of those are things you might have to deal with when you are living in your property in this condominium style unit, right? And those, let's say you have a leak in your property, and it's between you and the adjacent condo owner. You're going to have to get their insurance involved, and all of a sudden you're dealing with them as well. And not only do you have to deal with your neighbors who pound on the wall at all hours of the night, but then you also have this insurance issue because you had a leak, and all of a sudden you're dealing with that. So just know that this is something you might have to deal with. Now, we're going to get into a little bit about insurance as far as the HOA is concerned, but they have to pay for insurance policy that covers whatever else that you normally would take care of in a property that the HOA is actually taking care of. In a lot of condos, it's the roof and the walls and different things like that. And those insurance policies have to be maintained and taken care of. It's an insurance policy you are paying for. You're just paying a small portion of it, but it is an insurance policy you are taking care of. All right. Now, along those lines, in Ventura County especially, one of the things that we're seeing a lot of with fires and flooding and whatnot are special assessments. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like all of the sudden you get a bill through your HOA that says we need an extra $15,000 because we've got this thing that we have to take care of that we weren't planning on. And special assessments can come about and really, really hammer your pocketbook out of the blue, right? And it's not something that you really are in charge of. You can go to become an HOA member or board member and all those other things, but these are things that just have to be taken care of, and you can be on the hook for those because you've purchased a condo in an HOA that wasn't being managed with some forethought in mind, right? And then a little bit less about the cost. Let's talk about the condos offer convenience, but a lot less control. Meaning that you don't get to choose what your landscaping looks like, or when you're going to take care of this problem, or when you're going to take care of that problem. It's going to be done by the HOA. In addition, you can't necessarily always put things out. I know one person who liked to put, because they liked beautiful flowers, but they didn't want to take care of them, they hung fake flowers outside their door, and they got a fine for hanging fake flowers outside their door. They were just trying to beautify, but they ended up actually having to pay money because they tried to beautify in the wrong way that was not allowed by the HOA. So just think about that. That is something that If you are somebody who feels like you need to be in control of everything and the property you live in, don't buy in an HOA, because that's something you're going to have to deal with. Now, on the other hand, you've got all these other things that you have to take care of, and then you've got somebody like me making a video about it. So what does that do? That makes it to where it's actually harder to resell. So you're not going to get that resale value, or it's not that you're not going to be able to resell it, but let's say the market goes up 10%, a condo is probably only going to go up 8%, let's say, just as an example. It's not exact numbers or anything. And what does that mean? That means you're going to get your appreciation in your property is going to go up a lot slower. That doesn't mean it's not going to go up, but it does mean that you're not going to get as fast appreciation as your parents or your friend who has a single family residence. And so just know that that is something you're going to have to deal with. But if it gets you into the market, is it worth it? These are things you need to think about, and make sure that you think about them hard before you get yourself a condo. There are condos right down the street from me that they pay an HOA that is literally 6 times as much as I pay for my HOA. I do live in an area that has an HOA, but it's a small one. But I still have to deal with all these little things here and there. But at least it's not an overwhelming dollar amount every single month, which is a good thing. But it is something that I have to deal with. So just keeping these things in mind, if you're a buyer who might be on the vulnerable side, if you've got limited funds, or you're afraid of special assessments, you got your HOA has some insurance issues, all these things are things you need to think about before you buy in a condo area, right? So, is it impossible to do? No. Is it a great first step if you get yourself in there? It is, but just understand it's a different type of animal compared to a single family residence. And it's something you need to think about before you get into the market and buy. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but you need to understand what you're getting into. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Saul Carter here. And feel free to subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.